Today, we're going to talk about first periods. I've made a couple other videos, specifically I think my first period story, and so if you haven't watched that, you should go watch it now. It's kind of funny. I find it funny. This is for the girls out there who have just gotten their first period within the past month, couple months, or maybe you're really looking forward to your period, maybe not. Very first thing, before we even get into this video, even though this is part of the video, I want you to sit there, wherever you are, on your couch, your chair, on the floor, and start thinking of, in your brain, all the women and girls you know who are older than you. Think of girls in the grades ahead of you, girls in high school, girls in college. Maybe you have an older sister or a cousin, or you have an aunt. Think of your mother, think of your grandmother, think of your teacher, think of celebrities you like. Do we see a bunch of faces or a bunch of names? Most of them get their period every single month, or they have, and a lot of them have been having it for many, many years. So when you feel like awkward or alone or an outcast because of your period, you're not. You're actually part of a super sweet giant girl gang, so welcome. The very first thing I learned about my period on day number 1 of my period when I was 14, the blood is not always bright red. When you cut your finger, it is a bright red blood, and that is the blood you think of for most things. You get a bloody nose, or you slice your toe walking down the street or something like that. It's bright red. But menstrual blood is not always bright red, and that is the very first thing I learned about periods. It's not always bright red. It can be a light pink, it can be like a purpley color, and it can be kind of a brownish color too. My very first period was a brown color, and I didn't think it was blood. I thought I had pooped my pants. So, blood is not always red. Remember that. The next thing, your periods probably are not going to be regular right off the bat. Your menstrual cycles are not going to be regular right off the bat. You probably could get your first period and then not get your second period for a couple months. Periods very often are not regular when you first start having them. It could take a couple months to a couple years. When we think of this big event, we think of the period. We think of those 3 to 7 days of blood.
I'm funny. I'm good.
And that's all we think of with our menstrual cycle, but it's actually so much more than that. Your menstrual cycle is actually anywhere from 24 to 34 days, so it averages out around a month long. There are 4 phases to your menstrual cycle. One of them being the period. That is the menstrual cycle. That is the first phase of your menstrual cycle. Next is the follicular phase, then the ovulatory phase, and then the luteal phase. I almost forgot it there. But those are the 4 phases. And you feel different in each phase. Your emotions, your energy, what you like, what you don't like, changes. It fluctuates. And I think that's great. We're not taught that. We're not taught it's okay to fluctuate in our feelings and our emotions and our thoughts and our energy, that we're just supposed to be going strong, happy all the time. And you're not, and that's okay. Now I'm going to give you a tip of advice, which you've probably already heard before. Start with pads. When you first get your period, it can be kind of overwhelming, even if you know what to expect. I knew what to expect, and it came and I didn't know what it was. But start with pads. They're easy to use. There's other things to learn about, and you can move on to tampons when you feel comfortable and ready. And don't be afraid to ask your parents to go buy you tampons, because your mom's gone through it, she understands it, she probably uses tampons, and if she doesn't, I'm sure she'll be more than willing to buy some for you so you can do things like sports and swimming and all those great things that come along with tampons or menstrual cups. That leads me into something else I want to talk about. Growing up, I only knew of disposable pads and disposable tampons. I didn't know that there was also reusable pads, that there were menstrual cups, that there were menstrual sponges, and now they have period underwear, and they're all great things. I already mentioned this before, but you're part of this super sweet girl gang now. And the great thing about this is if you're out in public and you get your period, or you realize that you don't have a tampon or a pad, you can go up to almost any other girl or female or woman out there and ask them if they have something you can use. And they will be so happy to help you out. They'll be like, yeah, of course. And they'll reach in and they'll like wish you luck and give you a wink, and it's great. And another good tip is to make some sort of like little period kit, just something to carry around, pads or tampons. That way, if you're going to be in this situation, I suppose, where someone comes and asks you for a pad or tampon, you can give it to them, and it's such a good feeling to be able to provide a period product to another girl, because we are all part of this girl gang together. And nowadays with the internet, there are all these great resources to learn more, and a lot of times it can be kind of boring, but I think there are new resources coming out where it's more exciting to learn about your period. And if you have a question, ask it. There's plenty of forums or YouTube channels like my own where they talk about periods, and the women that run those are very happy to answer your questions. So if you guys have any first period related questions, I almost said stories, first period related questions, ask them down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more period related videos. It's mostly what I do. I'm kind of period obsessed. Okay guys, until next time, I'll see ya. Bye.